Game 3 NLCS, Phillies and D-backs in Arizona. We are scoreless in the fourth inning there. Phillies, of course, lead that series 2-0. Last night, the Astros got back into the ALCS with their win over the Rangers. That series is 2-1 in favor still of Texas Rangers. And this Saturday, the Aztecs, they take on Nevada, 6 p.m. kickoff. 4 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. There's a whole lot of savings going on now at Staples during Staples Sit-a-thon. Save up to $150 on select office and desk chairs. And when you buy a chair, you save 25% on desks, storage solutions, and office accessories. In-store only. Offer ends 10/28. Now is the time to save at Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim with you until 6. Really good show lined up. Great giveaways. Our fantasy insider, Paul Charch, will join us at 3:30. Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator, the Aztec for life, the great former quarterback at San Diego State, now the OC for the Aztecs, will join us at 5 p.m. There's a lot to get into. We just saw, like a number of you probably just saw if you're on social media, and we'll pull it up if you're on YouTube with us. By the way, we're on YouTube. Find us, Jon and Jim 760. You can search for us. Or if you're on Twitter, find us at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. You'll see this new logo, identity, and crest for San Diego FC. That's now, it's been leaked, I guess, or it's out. The Athletic put it out.
Yeah.
Now, this was supposed to come out tomorrow, but this happens at times in the business. So we weren't sure if this is legitimate or not, but it's in the Athletic, and I'm at this point pretty certain it is legitimate. San Diego FC is the name of the club that will be debuting in 2025. They debut this crest, and it's on the screen right now. And there's been a lot of reaction, obviously, to it on social media. When you think it's very important, these are the things, Jim, as someone that worked in minor league baseball, did you know that?
What?
Working in professional sports, I mean, people really identify with names and logos and crests, right? I mean, it's a big deal, and we can get into this, and I know you want to as well. I would just say this. This is my 2-cent take on San Diego FC from an identity perspective. I think when you're in a market like San Diego, you actually have to go above and beyond to get it right, because it's such an amazing place. When you're America's finest city, when you're a world-class city, when you're considered to be one of the great cities in this country, if not the world, you can't miss on something like this. And I'm still kind of taking in my thoughts on this logo, to be honest with you. But I do know this. This is as good of a city as there is in the country. It deserves to have sports teams with marks that, follow that path, is what I would say. So that's my initial thoughts. That for me, it's a little underwhelming, especially for a city like San Diego.
Boring.
That's Brent.
That is Brent's thoughts. I think it's a massive swing and a miss. I just do. I look at this logo.
Would you like to describe it, by the way, for our listeners that aren't seeing it right now?
Right. If you want to see it, head over to our YouTube channel at Jon and Jim 760. Go find us there. We have the logo up on the screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're listening to us over the iHeartRadio app, which is the best place to listen to us, or on radio, the best way I could describe it is it looks like a police badge.
That's the shape of the crest.
And it's a silver, it says San Diego on the top, and then it has a soccer ball that almost looks like it's like woven together. Okay. And then in the middle of the soccer ball, it says FC. And then around the edges, you have almost like a like a kind of like a rainbow, but it's not. It's a yellow, red, and blue outline of the logo,
Mm-hmm.
and the letters and the soccer ball are silver. I look at this logo and I think to myself, that's not San Diego. It's not San Diego.
You say that because it's a little too generic for you, you're saying?
It's way too generic for
Okay.
me. I don't think it's the worst logo of all time.
No.
I don't think it's the worst crest of all time.
Not. Yeah.
Because it's not. But it's definitely not even close to, I feel like, representative of the city, and gets people excited. Like does that scream excitement to you?
Well, a couple of things. So on the Athletics website, where they kind of, I don't know, leaked this or broke this story, they say the club's official colors are labeled as chrome. That's the silver you're seeing in this logo. And azul, which is the blue you're seeing in this logo. Here's the one thing I will say too. I always preface it with this, that anytime a club's identity, whether it's minor league baseball, professional sports, USL, Major League Soccer, anytime a logo debuts, typically there's backlash. That is almost like a guarantee. When, a minor league baseball team names itself the Richmond Flying Squirrels, people freak out, and then Richmond Flying Squirrels gear sells better than any team in the history of baseball. Yep. And that repeats itself, right? The Rocket City Trash Pandas, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, and that goes on and on and on. So the fact that there's negative reaction to a logo is actually not a bad thing. I would say this: what you don't want in terms of a reaction to a logo is apathy. You don't want no reaction. Even if the reaction is negative, to me, it's better than not getting any reaction at all. The reaction we're seeing on social media, and oh, by the way, Jim, social media, it's not like the first time we've seen this. We're seeing a lot of negative reaction, but it is social media, and it is a new logo, right?
Yeah, it's a new logo. I don't know, man. It just doesn't pop to me. Like San Diego Wave, when they released their logo, that to me popped. Like,
let me Google that real quick.
There are still people that I'm sure look at the Wave logo, the NWSL team in town, and they're like, I don't know. But at least I feel like that it pops. The San Diego Loyal logo, when it was released, there was a lot of like, what is this? But it was original. And to me, when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, San Diego.
And there's a lot of the one thing with the Wave and the Loyal logos and marks is there's a lot of color. When you think San Diego with the beach, with the sun,
you're color,
thinking color. You're thinking also, its proximity to Mexico. You're thinking vibrant colors. When you think about the City Connect uniform, for example, for the Padres. By the way, the initial reaction to City Connect, at least from my chair, was I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's become as good of a selling alternate mark in baseball, probably.
Yeah.
So San Diegans have really wrapped their arms around that logo. Now, this is different, and I don't know what the reaction is going to be of San Diegans, let alone soccer fans. My first reaction was underwhelming, but that doesn't mean my reaction is right, and we'd love to hear your reaction. 70470, start it with team. Call us, 844-570-1360. Brent, what do you think?
You guys had to tell me that thing in the middle was supposed to be a soccer ball.
We did, yeah.
I thought it looked like it was a maze or something. It looked like the back of a Denny's placemat. I was about to start trying to find my way through it with a pen. But it's just boring. When I look at it, I don't think, it's like Jim said, I don't think San Diego. I don't, it's just boring.
It kind of
no color to it. And, same with the name too. It was just, football club.
It gives me like almost I get like when I look at it, I get dizzy because there's a lot of moving parts in there. What's the thing that's said about logos or thumbnails or any type of thing that revolves around attracting people? Simple is more. Simple is better.
Wait, who says this? What's the adage? Simple is more with logos?
I feel like it is. Like, don't have too many things happening at once.
Okay.
It needs to be to the point. You can't have any distractions there. Because when I look at this thing, I don't immediately go to the San Diego FC. I immediately go to the giant woven soccer ball in the middle of the crest that kind of gets me dizzy.
By the way, those 18 lines that are quote unquote woven into the crest in that soccer ball. And again, if you're not seeing this, it doesn't make any sense to you. But those 18 lines represent the 18 communities of San Diego County. Remember when we went to the debut at Snapdragon? They had that huge glass soccer ball
Mhm.
with the 18 communities of San Diego on it. Those 18 lines represent the 18 communities, whatever 18 those are, right?
Yeah.
Poway, go on
Mhm.
and on and on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It just doesn't do it for me.
Is it make or break for you? As in, like I said at the beginning, I think you got to get these things right. But I know that the immediate reaction when you unveil a name and or a logo is there's going to be a lot of like visceral reaction. There's going to be a lot of negative reaction because it's new to people. It's like the first time you hear a Britney Spears song, maybe a bad example, Taylor Swift song. You know, you say, oh, I need to hear it again. And they play it 100 times. And all of a sudden you like the song. It's like we've only just become aware of this logo within the last few minutes. We just became aware of the name. We said months ago, I always said this, but I don't have a problem with this. I would have gone more original with the name, but I also understand that in soccer, this is commonplace. FC, SC, that's very commonplace in Major League Soccer. Now, would I have preferred personally more of a unique San Diego style name? I would have, but I understand that this is what goes on in Major League Soccer, and I'm okay with that.
Just because it's common doesn't mean that it's lazy and lame. If I was a fan of the team, I'd rather have a team name opposed to, hey, look, we're a football club, just like 12 other teams in the league.
Well, that is a more common soccer thing is FC football club, SC soccer club.
Yeah, no doubt.
Type of thing.
It's like 20 of the 30 teams roughly in Major League Soccer.
Well, exactly.
Either,
so when you want to stand out and have like an actual name,
I don't know.
One of the most popular brands in all of soccer is FC Barcelona. Like they're FC. They're not a name.
Almost all of them are like this. Manchester United. I mean, these aren't, they're never, it's not, if you're looking for the minor league route like I am, because I think it appeals to a broad audience. Like I'm a big fan of bringing people in like young and old.
McFooty faces.
Well, I like things that are tangible.
They'll always be the soccer McFooty faces to me.
I like tangible. When you have like an animal name, like you can that's tangible. Like if you're the Tigers, you can sell like stuffed tigers. You can say, let's go Tigers. But when you're United or when you're City or when you're football club, it's not as tangible to me, but I understand that's woven, no pun intended, into the fabric of soccer. So soccer's different than Major League Baseball or NFL football.
I don't have this real backlash towards the name. I don't. Would I've liked something more original? Yeah. But the name, it's safe. It's not going to get people to be like, what is this? When the Loyal announced their name, they went out on a limb. And they decided they wanted to be super original. They wanted to be super San Diego centric.
Right.
And that's what they did. And at the time when the Loyal released their name, there was backlash for that as well.
Absolutely.
It was like, course. Loyal, what the heck is that? And now I think when you look at their brand, you think, okay, that's San Diego. Unfortunately, it's not going to be around anymore because this is their last season. But at least like they went out on a limb and they tried to plant their flag firmly into San Diego. I don't know if this is doing that. And I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if when I see that is like a firmly boom San Diego. I look at the San Diego Wave. That's boom San Diego to me. That is plant your flag. We are San Diego. All right. That to me, this San Diego FC logo, I don't see it. And it's very unfortunate that the day before this big announcement, tomorrow at Snapdragon Stadium, the one thing everybody has been talking about and wanting to see is the crest. What's the crest going to look like? What's the colors of the team? And then a day before, like less than 24 hours, a little more than 24 hours, it gets released. That's a really bad look.
Right, because in this business where, first of all, it's community first, especially soccer. I mean, soccer is all about your community. And to have this leak outside of your community in a national publication where you've put all this time into having this ceremony and unveiling, right, with San Diegans. Like you'd think San Diegans would be the ones to experience it first, supporters of the club. Listen, here's my thought on this. It's not like San Diego FC will be or won't be successful based on their marks and logo.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, it doesn't hurt to get it right. It does not hurt to get it right. I'm not saying they got it wrong. I'm just saying my first blush look at this is they absolutely could have done better, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's making or breaking the franchise. It's not. No. It's not going to. And by the way, there'll be other marks and logos. We have no idea what the uniforms or the kits are going to look like. We have no idea. So Now, and I'd have to compare it to the other 29 or 30 or 31 teams in Major League Soccer. Some I probably like more. There's others I probably like less, Jim, to be honest. But my first blush reaction in America's finest city, one of the great world-class cities, I personally believe they could do better than this. Now, maybe it's going to grow on me. I don't think it's this massive swing and miss. I don't think it's a worse logo in professional sports. It's not how I feel. I just think they maybe could have done better, but maybe I'm off mark.
I think one of the rules when you're coming up with team colors, there's a couple colors you stay away from.
Okay, let me hear. What are the colors you stay away from? Silver?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
gray. You don't go gray. You don't go silver.
The Fleet were gray, and I was not a fan.
But they had yellow.
I know, and I don't know. It was a little dark for me.
It was yellow, gray, and black.
Yeah, it was a little dark for me.
It was, but the yellow popped more with the black and the gray there.
I thought it was a good name.
I thought the name was. The name was good. Fleet. It made sense.
Yeah, of course.
Naval
influence.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You don't put silver in your logo. I can't think of a team with silver in their logo.
How about the Raiders? The most iconic
black
logo
and
in the
silver
history of American sport.
That's they're an outlier for me.
Okay. LA Kings.
No, they're purple.
Okay, no,
Kings, they used to be Wayne Gretzky days.
Kings, yeah.
Yeah, the hockey team, Jim.
They did it right.
Old Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, LA Kings are a lot of silver.
Yeah.
LA Kings.
I don't disagree with what he's saying. I think silver's a little riskier.
All right, let me rephrase it. You can put silver in a logo, but it has to be done right.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be my first personal choice.
Sure.
And if you're going to put silver in a logo, and then you also have in the logo other colors, that's, like yellow, red, and blue.
Right.
I don't know, man. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe it won't. Still have to see the kits. Still have to see how they perform, and still have to see what things they do to make themselves San Diego, make the club feel like San Diego. But I think they're not off to a good start.
Yeah, again, to me, it's not make or break. I'm not going to support or not support based on their logo, but I think they could have done better. By the way, The Athletic says it was designed by a Costa Rican design firm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It also says they had months of research through focus groups to come up with this. It also says...
What focus groups did they go talk to?
I don't know.
Police officers?
Maybe. It says the crest is set to center around 4 principal virtues that define San Diego: gratitude, proud, not loud, diversity, and a state of flow. Proud, not loud, diversity, and a state of flow. That flow motif is evident in the central portion of the crest, which the club points out consists of 18 lines representing the 18 communities of San Diego County.
Well, they nailed the not loud part.
It's not loud.
And then this, Jim, the curvature of the San Diego at the top of the crest is said to be a nod to the arches woven into the city's architecture. There is that. Those arches downtown, but I don't see the arches really in this San Diego mark. Again, it's easy. It's easy to do this, like what you and I are doing, to pick it apart. It's very easy to do that.
No, it totally is.
You know what I mean?
I'm just wondering if when they showed this to people, if anybody pushed back, if anybody was like, absolutely not, or like they were saying, hey, doesn't this look kind of exactly like a police badge? It just like police badge-esque, the shape of it. You can say the shape's all you want, but to me, an average fan looking at this, I don't think San Diego arches when I look at the logo.
By the way, 714 says Detroit Lions.
Blue.
714 says Dallas Cowboys.
Blue.
Vegas Raiders.
Primary. Okay. The Raiders and the LA Kings. They did it right.
Oh, Patriots.
Blue, red. I'm talking about primary colors, guys. Not like the
Cowboys. That is their primary color. They never wear those.
It's
blue
just
jerseys.
navy and
it's
navy. They never wear the navy though.
Yeah, but the logo brand is blue, like the blue star.
Yeah, but I don't think blue right away when I think of Cowboys. I think of the gray.
You think silver?
Yes.
I think silver's in there, but I think blue first. All right, your thoughts. 70470. Start it with team. On the other side, it's another Thursday night to kick off another NFL weekend. Paul Charchian is our fantasy football insider. He's going to join us on the other side of this break. Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator, Aztecs back home Saturday night for the first time in a month to take on Nevada. Ryan Lindley, San Diego State, Aztec for life, great quarterback, currently the offensive coordinator. He's going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. There's a lot to get into. We have giveaways here today. Brent, do we have Aztec football tickets? I think we do. Aztec football tickets we're going to give away. We've got How O Scream tickets to give away. Don't go anywhere. Paul Charchian, our fantasy football insider, will join us next. All right, NFL tonight, Thursday Night Football, Saints and Jags to kick off the weekend. Our fantasy football insider, Paul Charchian, will join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Game 3 of the NLCS in Arizona, with the Phillies having a 2-0 series lead there. We are still scoreless in the top of the 6th inning. Later tonight, Astros take on the Rangers in a pivotal Game 4, with the Rangers leading that series 2-1. And Saturday night, the Aztecs return back home. They'll take on Nevada. 6 p.m. kickoff. 4 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. The versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy and surprisingly roomy, with available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all-electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB.
All right, Paul Charchi and GuillotineLeagues.com, our fantasy football insider. He will join us momentarily. Your reaction, keep it coming on San Diego FC's name and logo. If you haven't seen it, find it at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. Please follow us there. Find us, by the way, on YouTube. You can see it there. Search for Jon and Jim 760. We're broadcasting live every day on YouTube, San Diego Sports 760, and, of course, always free on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Paul Charchian is with us. Another week of NFL begins tonight. We've got Jags and Saints. He's our fantasy football insider. You can check him out at GuillotineLeagues.com. Paul, we always appreciate your time in San Diego. I know when you look at like NFL.com, ESPN.com, there's all these quarterback injuries right now. What should fantasy football players be aware of as it relates? It just feels like there's more quarterback injuries than we typically have. Is that accurate?
No, yeah, probably. I mean, I think we probably get to this stage at some point of most seasons, but it's bad right now, and it's amplified because we've got 6 teams on bye. So
right.
You add in all the bye week teams, and add in all these injuries, and a lot of fantasy owners are in a bind right now. And plus, in tonight's game, we still don't have confirmation yet that Trevor Lawrence is going to play. We hope he's going to play. They're going to test it out, but so we got to add that into the mix as well.
Paul, with Christian McCaffrey now injured, and you have Justin Jefferson going to missing some time, you have Debo out. What are some replacements for those players? I know no one can replace the productivity from those 3 guys, but if you're looking to fill those holes on your roster, where do you think people should go?
Now, are you talking running back in particular?
Running back and then wide receiver.
Yeah. So, okay, a couple of names for running backs that are off radar that you've got a chance. One is with the Rams. Their top 2 running backs are out, and they drafted Zach Evans in, I think, the 4th round of the draft. And the rookie got very, very little playing time, but he looks like your probable starter against Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh has not been a good running back defense. They've allowed at least 80 total yards or a touchdown to an opposing running back in every game this year. So if we can get that out of Zach Evans, that would be great. Jaleel McLaughlin in Denver, somebody who might be available. Jordan Mason could be your starting running back for San Francisco. Those are all guys that you could give some thought to. And if you want a wide receiver, let me help you with that. My favorite sleeper wide receiver of the week is Curtis Samuel from Washington. He's turned out to be, he's like resurrected his career with Eric Bieniemy now there. Thrown to him a lot. He's scored in 3 straight games. Curtis Samuel's never a scorer. And, of course, I have to tell you guys, the Giants' defense has been bad. Yeah. So a lot of opportunity here. Curtis Samuel, a pretty good track record against his interdivisional rival as well.
Speaking of the Giants, our fantasy football insider Paul Charchian with us, by the way, right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Darren Waller hasn't scored. That's amazing. I mean, the Giants have been awful, and that's putting it lightly. Yeah. Is Darren Waller still to be started each and every week or not?
This has been a disaster scenario, really, outside of, like injury would be worse. I'm not even sure actually injury would be worse because then we'd know not to start Darren Waller. And, as it stands, been waiting, no touchdowns. He's tight end 15 in fantasy points right now. Went off the board at roughly tight end 4. Now, the good news is, and we're going to try to see the optimistic side here on Darren Waller, Brian Daboll seems to be trying to make an effort to get him involved in the offense again, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case here. He's seen a big uptick in usage. The last 2 weeks, 19 targets, 7 from Tyrod Taylor last week, including that attempted game-winning touchdown at the very end of the game that did not connect because there was obvious pass interference that did not get called. So the hope is that, Darren, you're not going to find any more help because there's no good tight ends out there. So you're pretty much just stuck for the time being, I'm afraid.
And staying on tight ends here, Paul, segues perfectly. We have a question from a 619 number. He asks, I have TJ Hawkinson and Sam Laporta. Who should I start?
So, okay, TJ Hawkinson has the advantage of volume. He's outside of Travis Kelce. He's the highest volume tight end in the league, but a tricky matchup with San Francisco. San Francisco is obviously an elite defense. So the number one coverage defense by Pro Football Focus. So there's that. But in terms of sheer volume, I like him here because both he and Sam Laporta have got tricky matchups. Laporta's got Baltimore. Baltimore's a very good tight end. They've allowed the least amount of fantasy points to tight ends this year. There were no touchdowns to tight ends either. So in a different scenario, I would take Laporta, but just because they both have tough matchups, I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson, who I've got as tight end 5. Got Laporta as tight end 7 this week.
All right, Paul Charchian with us right now. Again, guillotineleagues.com, our fantasy football insider. So, Paul, as you know, Thursday Night Football. What type of challenge is this tonight for Travis Etienne specifically against, an elite run defense?
And he's been good. I mean, it's a ton of work, which has helped a lot. It's really high volume. Rookie Tank Bigsby, I thought, would be on the field a lot more than he has, and he's basically invisible at this point. But here's the catch. Saints are the only team that is not allowed a running back touchdown. That's on the ground, that's on the air, and they rank 8th best in run stuff win rate. They're 8th best in run defense by Pro Football Focus. So a more challenging matchup for Travis Etienne, probably the biggest challenge he's had all season, but just on sheer volume alone and the past success, we got to keep starting him. Right now, my running back 6 on the week.
Paul, who's your must start of the weekend?
Well, like any one player.
Any one player.
Position,
yeah.
Tyreek Hill. Now, he's going up against the Eagles. You might be like, oh, Eagles. But you know what? The Eagles secondary banged up with injuries. Darius Slay, James Bradbury were really good last year. They're both struggling a lot more. Their PFF rankings are in the 30s instead of like the single digits like they were last year. The Eagles have allowed 4 receivers to go over 70 yards this year, and Tyreek Hill, man, he's been great.
Paul, who's the best team in the NFC? I'm just looking at this Eagles schedule we've talked about this week. It's like Dolphins, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks are like 6 of their next 7. So we'll see how they do there. So what do you think? I mean, right now, who is the best team in the NFC?
Well, okay, so I'm going to answer it 2 ways. I mean, just best roster would be the Eagles, but are they playing the best? No, they really aren't playing the best. You'd be inclined to go San Francisco, even though they came off this weird ass loss to PJ Walker in the rain in Cleveland. But how about this for a sneaky answer? What's wrong with Detroit? They're all these teams are 5-1. Detroit's got the primrose path on their schedule to surge to the number 1 seed in the NFC. Their schedule is ridiculously easy rest of way. Their strength of schedule is under 500 opponents the rest of the way in totality. So yeah, I mean, I think you got to include Detroit in that. And by the way, your Vegas line favorite to represent the NFC as the number 1 seed is the Detroit Lions. So sneaky play there.
Travis Etienne has been pretty good the last couple of weeks, but tonight he going up against the Saints. Is that kind of one of those matchups that you don't particularly like for Travis Etienne, or do you like that matchup?
Well, yeah. Well, we just talked about this. This is a very tricky matchup for Etienne, and you got to be, you're going to have to start him because he's great. But this is not going to be the kind of output likely for Etienne that you've enjoyed the last few weeks.
Hey, the Eagles' next 6 games. I'm kidding.
Sorry.
Hey, who do you think the best team in the NFC is, Paul? I'm kidding. Paul,
sorry, Paul. I was
looking at. Let me say it. I want to go behind the curtains for a second. Jim, who listens to nothing, almost never does that. We've been doing it, and he doesn't listen. To his credit, he doesn't listen to me, Paul. Yet very rarely will he do something like that.
I was looking down at my questions, and I didn't hear the question that was asked. But my bad, Paul. I'm sorry.
Paul,
I still like you.
before you go, we talked about NFC best teams. I mean, it all goes through Kansas City in the AFC, right? I mean, even if they don't look great each and every week, they're the team to beat in the AFC, right?
Well, let's just say Miami and Kansas City were playing on a neutral site. Who would you take?
Miami, Kansas City, neutral site. Who do you take there? Miami, Kansas City, neutral. Okay, Jim's taking Miami. Who are you taking, Paul?
I think I'm taking Miami.
Wow.
I just feel like, the Kansas City, it doesn't feel like it's all clicked yet, right? And the pieces are there,
Right.
but when you look at their games and the opponents they've beaten, you're like, Eagles, same thing with the Eagles. Yeah, 5-1, but you don't feel like they're just dominating opponents the way that you want to. Meanwhile, Miami has just steamrolled teams. I think on a neutral site, I would take Miami right now. And, it's only week 6. We got a lot of time to be proven wrong, but I feel like Miami's played the best football in the AFC.
What about Travis Etienne tonight? Paul, thank you. Thank you so much for doing it. Paul Charchian, guillotineleagues.com. Paul, before you go, our listeners can find your weekly fantasy football information right there, right?
Yes, guillotineleagues.com, all my player rankings. So when I'm like, hey, I've got Travis Etienne as my number 6 ranked running back, you can see all the running back rankings there. And you can listen to the Fantasy Football Weekly podcast, an iHeart podcast, available every week over the course of every weekend, and can, at the option of your very station, be listened to for 2 hours. Anytime your station wants to pick it up, it's available as a 2-hour show.
Wow.
Your station can clear on weekends if they want to.
How about every Monday through Friday?
Yeah,
from 3 to 6. We could just
during this time slot.
Right.
That would be great.
Perfect.
Paul, thank you. Let's do it
Thank you,
again
Paul.
next week. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Travis Etienne.
That might have been.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't call you out yesterday. You did an exact same thing. I forget the circumstance. Brent, you remember it? 5 o'clock hour? He did something. Do you remember that? I'm going to have to go back and listen.
Didn't he say someone was a coach when they weren't a coach or something?
That was bad.
It was really bad.
Luckily,
we were able to play it off.
That's the
Paul's
most.
a good dude. It's the worst thing you can do.
That's the most embarrassed I've ever been on the radio.
Is it? Now,
No,
Hartman would.
No, actually, I take that back. It's not, because the most embarrassed I've ever been was when I ruined Xander Bogart's press conference and I saw
That
myself
was super embarrassing
on the screen.
Like, I could tell Hartman, like, the Chargers are moving to LA. He'd be like, I have breaking news. The Charger. I'm like, we just said it. He literally would listen to nothing. You listen to.
I remember he'd always read the same headline over and over.
Oh my gosh.
Cost to be like, headline, Dolphins win. And then like 2 minutes later,
Jim
headline, Dolphins win.
With the text line.
I read. I was reading.
You don't listen when you read. That is 100% accurate.
Yeah, I was reading and I wasn't listening.
Good trait of a radio host.
Oh my god! Darn it, Trip, who's listening to us right now,
called you an idiot.
He called me a massive idiot. Thanks, buddy.
70470. Start it with team if you'd like to weigh in on that. On the other
Travis Etienne.
On the other side, is Travis Etienne a good start this weekend?
I'm such
also, the Aztecs culture winning again. We'll explain next. Stay with us. It's Jon and Jim. Jim's an idiot. All right, the Aztecs culture winning again. Another example. That's on the other side. Plus, we've got tickets to give away for San Diego State on Saturday night and SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. Stay with us. All right, Ryan Lindley's going to join the show coming up at 5 p.m. San Diego State's offensive coordinator. We've got Aztecs Wolfpack tickets for Saturday night to give away. We'll do that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We have Howl O Scream tickets to give away as well. So there's a lot going on today, Jim. The San Diego FC name is official per The Athletic. The San Diego FC logo and mark, brand identity, crest, that is also official. We're taking your reaction to that at 70470. You can start your message with team. Now, Darnay Tribb, who's listening because he just texted you and made fun of you.
Hi, Darnay.
I thought did a really good job yesterday tying two things together. Yesterday was Aztecs Men's Basketball Media Day.
What?
That you missed out on. Well, I wasn't there either.
Okay, so you missed out on it too.
Well, no, not really, but that's for another day. So you may recall after the national championship game, Matt Bradley was so candid and honest about his really the part he was in his life when he elected to go to San Diego State, when he entered the transfer portal. This is after the national championship game. What Matt Bradley said, we're going to play for you in one moment, had a profound impact on Reese Waters, who transferred to San Diego State from USC. He was the Pac-12 sixth man of the year. I remember when we heard this, I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it had such tentacles that it literally reached a current Aztec who was at USC last year. This was Matt Bradley after the national championship game loss.
When I entered the portal and came here, I was really like during that time with COVID and stuff, I was really ready to just stop playing. I told myself, I was just like, you know what, man, it's been tough. Like, let's just go home and get a job and, call it the day, you'll be all right. But, Coach Dutch, he's one of the most genuine guys I've ever met. And the way he just took me in and, the brotherhood and these guys and actually having real leadership that I can follow, it just, it changed the directory of my life for sure. And it's more than just basketball, so I'm crying up here and stuff. But, I'm just really thankful for Coach Dutch and everybody that played a part in my move here, going to San Diego State. So yeah, that's how I feel.
That was probably one of the most memorable, powerful moments that came out of last season.
It was it was very eye-opening and very, I don't know. I thought it really spoke to San Diego State's culture because we have talked about Matt Bradley saying that previously.
Mhm.
Like that's authentic, true, and real. That's
Culture
something that
matters.
can't be just, hey, let's fake it. Like that's real.
That's 100% real. It's genuine. You could feel it. Yeah, it resonates.
And by the way, the year before, after they lost to Creighton in the first round, Bradley was up there saying similar things like, this is on me. The fact that I miss free throws late in games, it's something I need to get over. He was very authentic and transparent as a player. Reese Waters was interviewed yesterday by Darnay Tripp at NBC7 and had this to say about how he ended up at San Diego State.
Like we were talking about earlier, I think one of the reasons I came here was after watching Matt Bradley's interview and how emotional he got talking about Dutch and how the coaching staff embraced him, along with the fans and everybody who embraced him for who he was and knew that he had to get better at whatever situation it was and whatever problems he had. I think that was one aspect of the game and of life that I looked at. So not just the basketball part, but learning that the coach really wants the best for you. And not saying that SC didn't, but the relationship I can have with Dutch, I know is something I would be thankful for in the future.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
It just shows people are watching, they're listening, and they take things that you say to heart. And when you hear Matt Bradley talk that about Dutch and the program and how he felt staying here and how he was going to quit, he's like, it's time to go get a job. But then Dutch and this program kind of, lifted him up and made him a better person and a better player. And then you hear Reese Waters say, yeah, one of the main reasons why I came here is because I wanted to be a part of that.
Right. Like we're led to believe in today's college athletics, it's all NIL. It's all conference affiliation, right? It's all power, non-power. And actually, it's about, to some, like Reese Waters, who was the sixth man of the year in the Pac-12, really productive player at SC the last 3 years. To Reese Waters, who, by the way, could have gone anywhere. He had an offer to UCLA across town.
Yeah.
Chose San Diego State. Why? Because of that. So people have different priorities. Some people want NIL. Understandable, by the way. Maybe you need to support your family. Other people prefer a certain league or a conference or a part of the country or an academic experience. And for Reese Waters, it was about getting into this culture.
Yep.
And we've talked culture a lot the last couple of months. And a lot of times comes back to San Diego State basketball culture compared to other cultures in San Diego professional sports. We've had that conversation a lot.
I just can't stress enough how much a culture of a team matters to the success of that team. It just does. You got to build a culture first. And then when the winning comes, you'll know, okay, we did it the right way. Rarely do you see places or teams or programs do it the opposite way, where they win first and then have this culture established.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you got to have the building blocks first before you get to where you want to get to. And that's why we've pushed back so much on the comments made by Manny Machado this past year, saying to Kevin that he doesn't believe in culture. You can't just go out there and win and then have a culture be created. You have to make sure that culture sticks. So when you don't win, because no team is going to win all the time, that culture lifts you out of whatever losing streak or whatever losing, and then you can fall back on that culture to help you become winners.
No better example than San Diego State 2022, losing in disappointing fashion to Creighton, and the thing not crumbling all around the Aztecs. A year later, they're right back in that spot, and they completely take advantage of it, get all the way to a national championship game.
Because look what happened this year. The Padres had a lot of adversity early, and they did not have a good culture to withstand it, and they crumbled.
They did.
So tell me culture doesn't matter. I'll tell you, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, it does. I agree with you. All right, on the other side, hour 2 of Jon and Jim, we have a 4-pack of tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld we'll give away. We're going to get to the wrap. More of your thoughts on the new logo for San Diego FC. that we saw for a first time today in The Athletic. Plus, Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. NLCS game number 3. Game number 3. The Phillies have a 1-0 lead. 1-0 lead, bottom 7 over the D-backs. Phillies have a 2-0 series lead there. Later tonight, Rangers take on the Astros in game 4. Rangers have a 2-1 series lead there. And this Saturday, San Diego State takes on Nevada at Snapdragon Stadium, 6 p.m. kickoff. Our pregame coverage starts at 4 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. The versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy and surprisingly roomy with available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator, Aztec for life, all-time leading passer in San Diego State football history, will join us at 5 p.m. in the 5 o'clock hour. Jim, let's give away San Diego State football tickets for Saturday.
Let's do that.
This hour, let's give away Howl O Scream tickets. This hour, let's get into Travis Etienne's effectiveness tonight against that Saints defense. I'm not going to let you forget it that soon. We had kind of forgotten.
Should we
about
start
it.
him?
Call Paul Charchian, our fantasy football insider. Did we even ask him about Travis Etienne?
Oh my God, I'm an idiot.
Oh my God.
Dude, that was so bad.
By the way, there's a very good game going on right now between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. This is game 3, and the Diamondbacks have tied the score.
Yeah.
At 1 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and there's nobody out, and they've got the potential go-ahead run at second base.
Give credit to the D-backs. I thought they didn't stand a chance. They still could lose this game, obviously. But they're fighting. They're fighting against the fighting Phils.
They are fighting.
And it looks like a pretty full ballpark there, if you ask me.
You saw the story of Philadelphia Phillies fans buying the $15 tickets. Did you see this, Brent? Phillies fans were buying groups of tickets, 8, 10, 12, 14, that were like the lowest price, $13, $15, $17. They were spending like $200 to buy 10 tickets and then not use them because they wanted the ballpark to be empty. They're like, we're not going to fly to Arizona, but we'll spend the $150 or $200 to like take 8 seats or 10 seats. It looks full. To your point, it does. I mean,
it looks
how
full.
many people really did that? Are you going to go waste $200-$300 to go buy tickets that you're not going to use?
Yeah, like maybe like the
5 people
level.
did that.
But it looks full to me. I know I can tell you this: if I was in Arizona and I saw that tickets to an NLCS game was like $15, I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Now, what would you be wearing? Would you be wearing Eagles stuff?
No, I meant if I was like a D-backs fan.
Oh, I got you.
Not just like me right now.
I thought you and Aaron.
No, if I was a Arizona Diamondbacks fan and I lived in Arizona and I saw the tickets were $15, I wouldn't be complaining about it. I would be saying, I'd be like, hey, who wants to come with me?
It is a little weird as I watch this series. Like the Arizona Diamondbacks are in the NLCS. They won. Did they win 60 games 2 years ago?
No, they lost 100 games in 2021.
2021, they were awful. But then they extended their manager. Remember Torey Lovello? And then 2022, they weren't very good, right? They finished better.
No, they didn't. They were okay.
They were okay. And now, boom. National Championship Series.
And now, boom. Oh, I thought they're going to take the lead, but they didn't.
No, tied at 1, though, in the bottom of the 7th inning. All right, Ryan Lindley at 5 p.m. Howl O Scream tickets. We'll give those away coming up. Wait, are you ahead of me?
I am. You're looking at the wrong TV. I'm looking at this TV over here, the Spanish broadcast.
No, don't do that.
Why not?
That's not fair.
It's in my line of sight, bro. Okay. I'm not going to do this.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe Brent's on delay.
Right at it.
He's not.
Looking right at it.
Is there anything worse than being at a bar when the TVs aren't timed properly?
Oh,
right?
The worst.
That's the worst. Like, I need them all synced up.
I went to a
right?
bar 2 weeks ago, and the playoff game was on, and we were watching it, and the volume or the syncing was behind.
Ahead or behind? Oh,
So we were watching on TV, and we would hear what happens before we saw it on television.
I can't deal with that.
Oh, so bad.
It's like, here's the thing. Jim, sometimes watching the Padres back in the day, I don't know if you still do this. You'd be on Gamecast,
Oh, and I watch it.
and
before it
we'd be
happens.
watching, and he would know, like, 2 out to the 9th inning. He'd be like, Cronenworth base hit, they win, or Cronenworth strikeout, they lose. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, we just spent 4 hours watching this game, and you just ruined the final out.
When I used to do Brewer games, we would have to sync up the delay with the television broadcast.
Ooh, yeah, that's smart though.
But see, the problem we run into is the people that had cable, it would
Right.
work. But if you had DirecTV or Dish,
Stream, yeah.
then Stream didn't exist then, so it wouldn't work. So we'd make one group happy and piss off the other group. But I would have to sit there and put the delay and then wait for the ball to hit the
the mitt,
glove,
yeah.
and then I'd be like, okay, that's a little off, and then I have to go back. It was
And
so
try
annoying.
to time it up. All right, Ryan Lindley at 5 o'clock. Trainwreck Radio, your chance to win that 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hallow Scream. And right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Is it time for Bill Belichick to finally retire?
I think it's time. This is looks like a rebuild situation. Rebuild situation in New England. Mac Jones is regressing. The loss of Josh McDaniels, they didn't have a contingency plan there. It seems like. I mean, you're one of the worst teams in football. I don't know if Bill at his age can go with another rebuild. Like it might be time to hang it up.
I guess I would ask Bill Belichick this, like, what's the goal here? Are we trying to amass a certain number of wins? Where is he on the winningest coaches in NFL history? He's right
Good
there.
question. I don't know.
So I wonder if it has something to do with that. I wouldn't think he's doing it to win another Super Bowl, because at this point, that's looking extremely unlikely
Yeah, I
when
think.
you look around the NFL.
Yeah.
So where is he, Brent?
He is currently third. He's at 299. So he's
Wow.
29 away from Shula.
29,
tying
dude.
Shula. So 30.
But
to
on
beat
this
all
pace,
time.
that's 4 years of 7 wins.
And Hallis is second at 318. So he's 19 to move into second.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to hold out for the 20? What'd you say, 27 wins or 29
You
wins?
need 29 to tie.
Is he going to hold out for 30 wins? That could take 4+ years.
I don't know if he's
The way
gonna do
they're
that.
going to take longer than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't look like a team. They're not dynamic. They're not fun to watch. They're boring. Their defense isn't even good. And that's supposed to be like a Bill Belichick thing, is have a good defense. Might be time to hang it up. Might be
All right,
time.
why don't you tell him? Next question.
Rich,
Okay,
Rich probably
yeah,
has
let
his
me-
number.
Yeah, we
let me
can call him.
Let me call him right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, buddy. Jim.
Your team sucks.
Your team's not good. You might want to retire.
Right. Next question.
He's like, huh?
Time to get fitted for that retirement hoodie.
Yeah.
Guys, is James Harden the least untrustworthy athlete today?
Everywhere he goes,
Wait, who wrote this question? Jim?
Yeah.
Is James Harden the least trustworthy? Least trustworthy athlete. Okay. Sorry.
what? We're gonna what?
I don't know. Carry on. I like the question.
I think he is. Everywhere he's gone, he's caused problems. Houston, he showed up fat and demanded a trade and forced his way out. Brooklyn, forced his way out. Philadelphia, forcing his way out. No way, if you're any team in basketball, would I give him another contract? I don't trust him.
Trustworthy.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. He may be. He's not going to. I do know this.
John goes from ripping me
No.
to praising me.
Because here's
that
what
right
I do know. Here's what I do know. James Harden will not come close to winning anything again. I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he can be successful somewhere. I don't think he can. I think he's old and tired, and I think he's a problem everywhere he goes. So he'd be up there. Who else could you think of? It would be least
I have
trustworthy.
one name.
Who?
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has gone everywhere. He'll play 2 games and then he'll have some emotional problem and say he needs to take all this time off and he won't play. And so
here's the difference.
Ben Simmons.
Here's I think the difference between Ben Simmons and James
Hard
Harden.
plays sometimes.
Well,
and
James
he can
Harden
shoot from farther than 2 feet away from the basket.
James Harden is paid way more than Ben Simmons by all 3 of the teams I just named off, and he quit on all of them.
Right.
That to me, I can't trust you if I give you a $200+ million contract and you quit on me.
Why would anyone want him? Let's say he was the most trustworthy player in the history of the league. What is he doing to help you win at this point in his career?
In the postseason, nothing. Regular season, he's awesome. But when they get to the postseason, he's nothing.
Next question.
Who's Mr. October in today's game? Bryce Harper.
Bryce
Harper.
Harper.
I know Harper. I got Stranger Things on my mind for some reason. Bryce Harper or Jordan Alvarez?
Bryce Harper or Jordan Alvarez?
Well, Bryce Harper is in the National League just the best player. Jordan Alvarez is the best player in the American League. But if I pick one guy, man.
I'd love to compare postseason stats.
All right, so I'm looking at Jordan Alvarez's postseason stats right now.
Okay.
4 years in the postseason. He's played in 54 games.
It's a lot.
12 home runs, 36 RBIs. He has a 922 OPS.
So Harper's been better.
But Jordan Alvarez is having like an all-worldly postseason this year. Have you seen his numbers?
I have. Because I'm looking at them right now.
They're insane. 6 home runs, 10 RBIs. His OPS is well over 1,000.
Dude, both of these players, what you're saying is these are elite.
Yeah, who would you take? Jordan Alvarez or Bryce Harper?
Right now, in this moment, I feel like taking Harper because I feel like the Phillies, they got to the World Series last year. I just feel like maybe they're primed to win it this year, and Houston just won it last year. Like in this exact moment, I know they're both great. I just feel like slight edge to Harper because I feel like the Phillies at the end of the day might win the World Series. That's just how I feel right now. And he would lead the way for them to do that, just like Alvarez would, of course, for the Astros. It's an impossible question.
But Jordan Alvarez also has a World Series. Bryce Harper does not.
No, I know. You're right. I'm saying today I want Harper for 2023 postseason, but it's a tough question.
Now, Jordan Alvarez did not have a good World Series last year. He only hit 130.
Right.
But Bryce Harper didn't do much better because his team lost. You take Harper, I'll take Alvarez, even though I like them both. But
all right.
You take Harper, I'll take Jordan.
Next question.
Would you start Travis Etienne? I'm joking. What do you think of the new San Diego FC logo?
Oh, San Diego FC logo talk, Jim.
Meh. It's meh. I mean, it's just, if I'm giving like a rating, like 1 through 10, I give it like a 5.
Okay.
It's not great.
Not the best, not the worst.
It's not great. It's not bad, but it's also not what I would have hoped for. I don't mind the name at all. San Diego FC, totally fine with it. They could have done a lot worse. They could have done better, but no problem at all. But the colors in the crest to me they don't scream San Diego. They don't pop. It looks like a police badge to me. When you have a color scheme of chrome and silver as your main colors, I know a lot of sports teams have silver or gray in their color scheme, but it's not their main colors. Only a couple do, Raiders, LA Kings, like we talked about. But to me, it just, I don't know. It looks very basic. It doesn't look like professionally done.
All right. So if you haven't seen it, go to Jon and Jim's Twitter page at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. You'll see it there. Just scroll back a couple of tweets. Follow us, by the way, and we will follow you back if you want to follow us right now at Jon and Jim on Twitter, JONANDJIM. We had it up on YouTube earlier. You can watch us there as well. Here's the thing. I stick by what I said an hour ago, and I'm not going to completely discredit the logo because it's very easy to do that when a team unveils something like this. Oftentimes, that's where people go, especially on social media. I just feel like there's a higher bar in San Diego with sports logos. Like San Diego Padres fans were upset with the very generic blue and white because they're like, this is San Diego. You can do better. And the history of your franchise has better marks than this very generic navy that you're just wearing throughout the 2010s.
Yeah,
and to the
generic.
Padres' credit, they upgraded and they've done very well. City Connect's been popular despite the fact that it was criticized initially. Brown's been very popular. Of course, they went old with their new. When it comes to Brown, I'm just saying this. When it comes to San Diego, there's a high bar. It's an amazing city. It's a high bar. It's a brand new franchise. If you don't hit a home run, okay, you shouldn't strike out, though. And I'm not saying they did strike out here, but I think there's some work to do with a lot of people. And my initial take, I think, was it's underwhelming. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not the best thing I've ever seen. It's just a little underwhelming for me.
I think it's a little bit of a swing and miss. I do.
Like a third strike or more like you're down 0-2?
Like it's a full count and you
swung and missed.
Swung and missed.
And like the game was on the line and the bases were loaded.
Hence I said it's a little bit of a swing and miss.
Right, but if you swing and miss and the counts, no balls, no strikes.
Okay. No, okay, fine. It's an 0-1 count. They swung and missed here. It's not 0-2.
You think they could redeem themselves?
Yeah. I think they could. Because
do you think they would consider any tweaks or alterations to it?
They can. I don't think they can. I think this is it. This is the final one. This is what this team is going to be throwing out there to the fan base tomorrow night. I think they can recover, but they're going to have to do a lot of the right things. And to start out this way, it's not a good first impression. You want to have something that pops. You want to have something that people can relate to. You want to have something that, look, you're not going to get a 100% consensus on anything.
Right.
People are going to hate everything. I totally understand that. You can't find anything that people can universally love. Even the Padres' new brown and gold, it's not universally loved at all.
Mm-hmm.
The
same thing with City Connect.
City Connect, not universally loved. There's not one thing that's universally loved in the world. So to expect this logo to be universally loved, it wasn't going to happen.
I agree with that.
But I also think that when you are giving a first impression, logos are a huge thing. Logos, it's all people are talking, like logos. You kind of want to have something that relates, and this doesn't, to me, relate at all. It doesn't say San Diego.
Does it scream San Diego? I mean, does it even say San Diego?
Well,
I mean, it literally says the word
San Diego.
If you haven't seen it, you need to find it. I agree with you. And again, is this going to ultimately determine the success or failure of the franchise? It will not. No. It really won't. And soccer, as we talked about earlier, is a little more unique from the other sports because you don't get the throw a name against the wall and see if it sticks type names in soccer. Yeah. There are now, I think, 12 MLS teams that feature the letters FC. End of it 12 of the 30 or 31.
That's totally fine.
So I was prepared for that. FC San Diego or San Diego.
We knew
FC.
that.
We knew.
We thought we had
Tom Penn said it like they won.
Yeah, he's like, we're leaning towards this.
But it was a blank canvas when it came to the logo and the mark. Like the logo was going to be not everything, but a lot of things for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And when you see the reaction on social media, which is not oxymoron, because obviously reaction on social media is not what it might be in person. The reaction has been overwhelmingly critical, and that's okay. That happens all the time in sports. We'll see how it's received once they debut it tomorrow night outside Snapdragon Stadium. Once they start selling merchandise, I'm sure they'll do that for the holidays here in 2023. We'll see how it's received.
I put up a very scientific poll, John. Very scientific.
Okay.
Do you like the new SDFC crest?
Oh,
71% say no.
Which means day one, 30% like it. You know what I mean? If you look at it that way, 30% on the first day you unveiled it like it. In that poll.
But
70% don't.
You are a new entity in town and you're trying to, let's be real here. You have an established soccer club in town that is essentially going away because of you guys.
Because there's only room for one, you're saying?
Yeah. Like let's be real here. The loyal are gone because one, they can't keep up with the MLS club because of the money is just not going to be there. It's just not going to be there. And Andrew, I can't pronounce his last name.
Vasiliadis.
There we go. Andrew Vasiliadis. Unfortunately, just the pandemic crushed that program to launch the same year as the pandemic. Really hurt them.
Sure.
And then once the MLS club came in town,
no doubt,
it was over. So when you're coming into a situation where, call a spade, you kind of just by your presence alone forced out the soccer club that established themselves here and pretty much, rooted themselves as a true San Diego-based club. And the first thing you come out with needs to also be, I feel like, San Diego centric based. You are thinking about the city, the fan base, and you come out with this that kind of doesn't scream anything but generic. That's not a good look to me.
I'm not looking at it through that prism
I am.
of, hey, the loyal were here since 2020, therefore you have to go even further above and beyond with everything that you're doing.
Well, you can't come out
Because
and
because this isn't the only example in Major League Soccer of there had been a USL franchise and Major League Soccer came in to the city. Like this is not a completely unique situation. There's a lot of examples of USL franchises that
yeah.
then got, I don't know if they made it to Major League Soccer or ceased to exist because of Major League Soccer. But like Major League Soccer is a different entity than the
Totally.
USL. If they see a business model where they can be successful in San Diego, is it their responsibility to make sure the loyal work? Is it
No.
Amazon's responsibility to make sure local businesses in San Diego thrive?
I'm just looking at it from a average fan standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm asking the question, well, what's happening to the loyal? Oh, it's because the MLS clubs in town. I know there's a lot more to that than just that simple term there. But then you're like, oh, okay. Let's look at the first thing that they did, and the San Diego FC released this logo. I don't know. It doesn't feel like the first good impression. And also, too, by the way, to have this leak the day before you're announcing it,
That's not a good look.
That's not a good look.
It's not. It's not. I agree with that. Your reaction to it, 70470. Start it with team. We'd love to hear from you. All right. The Padres, it's amazing how they get brought up this October. It has nothing to do with their on-field play because they've been sitting at home for multiple weeks.
Living rent-free in everyone's head.
They really are. You'll hear the latest from Paul Sewald of the Diamondbacks on the other side. Plus, this hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator, will join us at 5. We have Aztec football tickets to give away in the 5 o'clock hour. That's next. All right, Padres living rent-free in the heads of current Diamondbacks players. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Game 3 in Arizona, NLCS, between the D-backs and the Phillies. We're still tied at 1 apiece, heading to the top of the 9th inning there. Later tonight, in about a half hour from now, Astros-Rangers Game 4. Rangers still lead that series 2-1. And this Saturday, the Aztecs return home to take on Nevada, 6 p.m. kickoff. Our pregame coverage starts at 4 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. The versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy, surprisingly roomy. Available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all-electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at MBUSA/EQB.
All right, so Jim, I need an update here on this Diamondbacks-Phillies game. It was 1-1. Is it still 1-1?
Yeah.
All right, because we saw a ball hit off the wall a moment ago for Arizona. I wasn't sure. There was a double a second ago.
I just said
I
it was,
down.
I just said it was 1-1 the top of the 9th inning.
I wasn't listening.
It's a trend with
but
the
it's
show.
okay to not listen
I
to
know.
your updates.
Well,
but
you
when we have
told
a
me-
guest on, you can't, like with Ryan Lindley at 5 o'clock, I'm serious. You need to
John,
listen to my questions.
John, Paul is the one. When have I ever not listened to an interview?
I don't know. Yesterday, we'd have to go back. There was
Okay,
something that happened yesterday.
Besides today with Paul.
Good point.
And it wasn't that I was tuning out. I was like
Bracketology stuff.
coming up with another question and looking at the questions on the sheet. And I didn't hear your question. I wasn't listening to your question that was asked of him. And it wasn't good. It was a bad,
It's
my bad.
not, is it a good look? No, but listen, you can overcome it.
Hey, look, my bad.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm an idiot. It's fine. I acknowledge that. Acknowledge me. I'm an idiot.
What are you talking about? Okay, a couple of things. So 1-1 Phillies Diamondbacks later tonight, game 4.
Half hour
Rangers
from now.
Astros, and that series is 2-1. Texas leading.
2-1. Justin Verlander's been scheduled to start game 5. Now, do they do 2-3-2 format in the CS round? Yeah,
I
they
want to
do.
say
They do.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because last year they did 2-3-2, and I hated it.
Hold on. Is that confirmed?
I'm like 100% positive that's a 2-3-2 format.
We're such idiots. We like ask each other these questions
And we don't
that
have the
we should know
answers
the
to.
answer to, and then we're like, let's look it up. I don't like 2-3-2 as a format. I like 2-2-1-1-1. But it's got to be 2-3-2. There's no way they're going Philly, Arizona, Philly, or are they?
Game 5 is in Arizona, so yes, 2-3-2.
That's advantage road team. That's advantage.
Yeah.
Whatever. Worst team.
Right.
Then here's the thing with home field. I'm gonna die on this hill.
All right.
This is a big pet peeve of mine.
Do it.
The team with home field advantage at no point in a series should ever have played fewer home games than its opponent.
Agreed.
Simple as that. How could you be down 3-2 with home field advantage without having lost a game, without the home team losing?
Mm-hmm.
How can you be down 3-2 without the home team losing?
They should change it to 3-2-2.
No, that's a terrible idea. That's the dumbest thing. It's just 2-2-1-1-1.
I know, but their main excuse is because of travel. So if you're gonna bitch about travel, then do 3-2-2.
3-2-2 is a terrible idea.
Or you go 2-2-3.
2-2-3. What does that even mean? I remember my first time with math. That means the home team gets 5 games and the road team gets 2. 2-2-3.
You want an advantage for the home team, so there you go.
How about 7-0?
7-0.
All 7 games. And
you don't have to worry about travel at all.
but don't you agree? Like, what is home field advantage if you can ever trail in a series without losing at home?
No, I know it's stupid. And
I need Rob Manfred.
That's what happened last
the
year
phone.
when the Padres were playing the Phillies. They split in San Diego, and it was clear advantage Philadelphia. And all we were saying is just get one in Philly. Just get one in Philly so you can come back home. But even if you just got one in Philly, you're still down 3-2.
Yeah, but that's because you lost at home. That's fine. If you lose at home, I'm fine with it. If you don't lose at home, I'm not fine with it.
It shouldn't be you end up winning the first 2 games at home.
And then you're down 3-2 because you lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah. And then you have to come back home and win the next.
There's way too much pressure on a team trailing 3-2. You should be the home team up 3-2 going to Arizona.
Well, basketball does it right. They do 2-2-1-1-1.
For all series now? They used to do 2-3-2 in the NBA Finals.
Not anymore.
I know. Good for them.
Yep. Because
What are they doing in the in-season tournament?
Who cares?
Good point. All right. Take me through what happens here. Paul Sewald, who's on the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. He's their closer now? I think he's their closer.
Okay.
He was on the Chris Rose podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about an hour-long podcast. And he was asked a question about Cal Raleigh, the general manager with the Mariners.
Right.
And his comments about spending and just the Mariners' philosophy about spending money and not spending money and just all the weird stuff he did at the end of the year. And Paul Sewald just throws in this random comment about the Padres. And it's interesting. Take a listen.
They went from a team that we used to just wax to taking our spot in 2 years by spending. And it can be spent irresponsibly. Look at New York and San Diego, or it can be spent really, really well, like the 2 teams that are up 2-0 right now.
And he was referring to the Texas Rangers.
So a current player taking a shot at the Mets and Padres?
Mets and Padres. And he was referring to the Rangers spending smart money.
Yep.
Even though they lost like almost 100 games last year. They spent a bunch of money, but they got a lot of injuries.
Are you putting that on a bulletin board if you're like Manny?
Manny doesn't care, dude.
You don't think you heard that?
I think Manny is so far removed from baseball right now.
Did Manny sign off on the logo, by the way? He had to. You got to think Manny Machado was asked about. I'm being serious. As a minority owner in the San Diego MLS franchise, now San Diego FC, I would think that Manny would at least have played a role.
Hey, look, he's not going to be there tomorrow night. That might tell you what he thinks of this logo.
You're saying he wasn't on the dignitaries that are going to be there, officially announced?
I looked at the press release and I did not see Manny Machado as somebody who was scheduled to be there.
But you don't think Padres players use that as motivation when a current player in the big leagues in their division says this team was built poorly. The money spent was poorly spent. That's not a shot at the players in that clubhouse. I think it is a shot.
It is a shot, but unlike
they need to take more of these things as slights.
They don't.
I'm taking everything as a slight.
They don't, John. It's just baseball,
right.
As Manny Machado would say.
See,
it's just baseball.
Right.
They won't take that as a slight.
Mm-hmm.
But if a media member said it, then
gee.
they would be so pissed off
right.
about it, and they would just never forget about it.
By the way,
your guys' fault for having high expectations for us.
By the way, he's pitching right now. He is their closer. He's in a tie game in the 9th inning. Paul Sewald for the Diamondbacks. Phillies and Diamondbacks tied at 1. It's critical game 3 of a series. If the Phillies win this game, they'll win the series. If the Diamondbacks win this game, who knows? Maybe they get back into it. We'll see.
But
what were you talking about? I completely forgot.
Other players in
Oh,
baseball
yeah,
have
yeah.
taken
It
shots
feels like
at
a
the
lot of
Padres.
people have taken shots at the Padres. And
Yeah.
of course, beginning with Dick Monfort, owner of the Rockies, now
Yeah.
to Paul Sewald.
And I'm with you. And it's hard to say this right now because it's the offseason and these players
Right,
are
you
like
can't do anything about
scattered
it.
across the world. But next year, can we maybe, I don't know, take some slights and take things personal?
Right. Like when Manny Machado gets hit by the Pirates, do something about it next year.
Right. When there's an issue in Seattle and the entire Seattle bench wants to fight Steven Wilson and no one moves off of the Padres bench, that's a problem. Like, take things as personal. Use them for motivation. Don't come in and just say, oh, it's baseball, it's early, we'll get our numbers. That is the last thing anybody wants to hear from this team next year. They want to hear we have motivation, we're taking things personal. We heard everyone talk about us last year in the offseason, how we sucked and all this stuff. We're going to go out there and we're going to prove them all wrong, and we're going to all go out there as a team together. Instead, it's probably going to be some of the same.
Yeah, I just don't know if you could kind of like fake it. Like if they weren't that team in 2023, they got the same GM, manager, and core. Are they now going to be that team that takes slights personally and all of a sudden plays with urgency in April and says all the things we want them to say?
No.
Probably not. All right, on the other side, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. It's Trainwreck Radio. That's trivia. You need to call right now if you want to play for a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. 844-570-1360. Call right now. First two callers will be our contestants. The number to call, pick up your phone, 844-570-1360. Again, the number to call if you want a free 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream is 844-570-1360. Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator, joins us at 5. Stay with us. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. I told you yesterday I was over at Windmill Farms. I ran into their owner, Trevor. I saw his mom as well. It's always amazing to catch up. They really do support local businesses here in San Diego. They've been in the grocery business for decades, and they were sharing with me how they've got all these San Diego-based businesses in Windmill Farms. They've got amazing, amazing products for you during your work week. I go there for my lunch. You can get that sandwich card, get your 8th sandwich for free. They keep their prices low on the sandwiches out of their deli. And again, your 8th sandwich is free with the sandwich card. And they've got the best ingredients you can use to keep those prices low as well. They are the college area's natural grocer. They've got you covered for your game day needs over the weekend, watching Major League Baseball playoffs or tailgating before college football games or getting ready for the NFL. They've got organic farm fresh produce and meats. They've got an amazing craft beer and kombucha selection. They've got the deli I was just telling you about, and they're centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard across the freeway from Montezuma Mesa. They've been family owned in San Diego for more than 20 years. You can check out all of their weekly specials at windmillfarmsmarket.com. By the way, if you don't live or work near Del Cerro, it's not a problem. You can find Windmill Farms on Instacart, have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. Check them out. Shop local. Shop at Windmill Farms. Ryan Lindley will join us in about 13 minutes off the practice field. San Diego State's offensive coordinator. We'll catch up with him. We'll give away Aztec football tickets in the 5 o'clock hour as well. So again, Ryan Lindley is going to join us in about 13 minutes. We're keeping our eye on Diamondbacks Phillies game 3. Tied at 1, bottom of the 9th inning. Nobody on, nobody out for the Diamondbacks. Game 3, a must-win game for Arizona. All right, let's play.
Three questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's contestants, we have Joseph and Brian. Joseph, you called in first. You have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with today?
I'll go with John.
Joseph and John, I like it.
Brian, you get me. All right.
Excellent.
Now,
Perfect.
Joseph, do you go by Joseph or do you go by Joe?
Joseph.
Okay. I was wondering.
Brian was very excited to be with me. I love that attitude from you, Brian. Brent, what is today's question of the day?
Hey guys, the Saints host the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football. Today's question, can you name the 9 players in Saints history with 3,000 or more career rushing yards with New Orleans? So we're looking for a Saints running back with more than 3,000 career rushing yards.
Okay.
Oh,
Little Saints trivia.
All right. Brian, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
Oh, I'm not a Saints fan.
Really?
I'm gonna start with the lifeline.
Start with the lifeline. That's you, Jim.
Okay.
Come on, Jim.
I got a couple names in my head.
Yeah.
I'll go with Ricky Williams. Do you take that?
I'll take that. He played long enough.
Yes!
Look at that, Jim. Well done. Well done.
Oh man.
Yeah. You were nervous with
He
the
was
first
number
guess.
9.
Oh,
Okay.
I was so nervous with that. Okay, Joseph, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you want to use it.
How many yards again?
3,000.
3,000.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin
Kamara.
Kamara on the list.
Well done.
Probably should have gone the most
Yep.
recent player, but I'm an idiot. Brian, you're up next. What is your second guess? And sorry, buddy, you don't have a lifeline left.
All right. Let's see. Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram.
Very good guess.
Very good guess.
Yeah.
Good job. Joseph, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
I'll go Deuce McAllister.
Deuce McAllister?
There's my lifeline.
Oh, Brian, to go 3 for 3 here, you're going to need a right guess. It's all on you because you don't have a lifeline. What do you got?
Chuck Munson.
Chuck Munson.
Wow.
What a pull.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Joseph, final guess. You do have your lifeline if you want to use it.
This was back when I was in high school. Pierre Thomas.
Pierre Thomas. Great name.
Great guess.
On the list.
On the list. Good job. Good job.
We
good
have
job.
a couple of huge Saints fans.
Huge Saints fans in the building.
Which you'd
today.
expect here in San
Yeah.
Diego.
Or
Yeah.
at least they just became Saints fans
Right.
in the last 30
Huge.
seconds.
Exactly. All right. We're going to overtime. Brent, give us the rules of overtime in the question.
All right, how overtime works is I'm going to ask you guys a question. When I'm done asking the question, you are going to yell out the name of your partner today, John or Jim. Don't yell out the answer. When whoever yells out the name of their partner first, you are going to win the game by getting the question right, or you're going to lose the game by getting the question wrong. Do you guys got it?
Got it.
Okay, today's overtime question. Who do the Saints play tonight?
John.
I heard John.
Oh,
Joseph, what do you
Joseph,
got?
what do you got?
Jaguars.
The Jags for the
Jaguars.
win. Boom. Team John victorious. Joseph the winner. And he's going to Howl of Scream, Jim.
Who was the name that
Yeah, who did he say?
That
Chuck
Brian's
Munson or
came out
Chuck
of nowhere with?
Muncie?
Chuck
What was that
Munson?
about?
Yeah.
Who is it? Who was
It
it?
was Chuck Muncie.
Was it? Is he number 1 on the list?
No, he's number 8.
Okay.
All
Who's
right.
number 1 on the list, Brent?
Mark Ingram was number 1.
Okay.
Deuce was 2. Kamara was 3.
Is Reggie Bush on the list?
Hold on, let's hear
No.
the list.
Dang it.
No, Reggie Bush is not on the list.
I almost
Who's on the
went with him.
list?
George Rogers, Dalton Hilliard, Pierre Thomas, Ruben Mays, Chuck Muncie, and then Ricky.
No one said Ruben Mays?
No one's in Ruben next.
He would have been next.
Dude, okay, but yeah.
All right. Congratulations, Joseph. You've won a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl of Scream with new twists, turns, and special effects. They're lurking around every corner with 5 terror-filled houses, 10 scare zones and haunts, and death-defying drops with rides after dark. The screamiest event of the season is out at SeaWorld San Diego's Howl O Scream through October 31st on select nights. For more information, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com. What are you freaking out about?
Look at this replay.
Yes.
He called that not a swing.
Oh, he definitely went. He definitely went.
He called it not a swing. That's third strike right
The Diamondbacks are on like the precipice of winning. They have second and third, nobody out in a tie game, bottom 9.
Yeah.
Second and third, nobody out, tie game, bottom 9 against Craig Kimbrell. That would have been a third strike, Jim?
That would have been a third strike.
Okay, so second and third, nobody out.
Oh.
As Arizona tries to get back into the series against the Phillies coming up in about 10 minutes. Astros-Rangers game 4.
Yep, Astros-Rangers game 4. This has actually turned out to be a really good game. Good job for the D-backs.
Oh!
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, well, all of a sudden on the precipice of winning no longer exists because there was not at home plate. It's first and second, now 1 out, I think. So hold everything.
Hold everything. Hold all of it.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Next hour, we're giving away Aztec football tickets for Saturday night. Coming up in about 6 minutes, Ryan Lindley off the practice field for San Diego State is going to join us, the Aztec for life. He's currently the offensive coordinator for San Diego State. They're coming off a 41-point effort against Hawaii. We'll keep you updated on Phillies and D-backs. Ryan Lindley off the practice field will get us ready for Saturday, and we'll give away Aztec tickets on the other side as well. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim, and it's next.
getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Game 3 NLCS has just ended with a walk-off hit by the Arizona Diamondbacks to win 2-1. That series is now 2-1 with the Phillies still leading. Game number 4, Astros-Rangers, about moments away from first pitch there in Arlington. The Rangers have a 2-1 series lead there as well. Thursday night football tonight, Jaguars and Saints. Kickoff is about 15 minutes from now. And Saturday, Aztecs return back home to take on Nevada. 6 p.m. kickoff. 4 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. The versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy, surprisingly roomy with available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. And coming up between now and 5:20, your chance to win tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Aztecs, Wolfpack, 6 o'clock kick. We have 2 free tickets to give away. Do not call now. You're going to need to listen to our conversation coming up with Ryan Lindley, San Diego State's offensive coordinator. Something from our conversation will become the question we'll ask you when you call in, and we'll let you know when to call. But we have tickets to give away. San Diego State trying to get to 500 with a victory. We have a final, as Jim just said, in the desert. Arizona finds a way. First walk-off hit of the postseason is Ketel Marte, right?
Ketel Marte.
2-1 Arizona over Philadelphia. We got a series. 2-1. Phillies lead.
Got a series. Think that's good for baseball?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, absolutely.
I still think the Phillies are ultimately going to win that series.
Agreed.
But at least it's now prolonged, and we're going to get a game 5, and we're going to at minimum still get a game 5 in the ALCS as well. And I just hope that at least one series goes 6 or maybe 7, so we don't have this like 8-day or 7-day layoff until the World Series.
I agree, and the odds would be we'll get at least a 6th game. With 2 series of 2-1, the odds would say that one of those series should go 6 games. Not a guarantee, though. All right, Ryan Lindley, we talked about this. San Diego State trying to get back to 500 overall. Saturday night, Snapdragon Stadium. We'll give away 2 free tickets on the other side of our conversation with the Aztec for Life, San Diego State's offensive coordinator. Ryan, we always appreciate your time, and it's interesting because it's only been a year, right? You got here at the beginning of October. That's when you meet Jalen Maiden. What's it been like for you working with your quarterback over the last year, and where have you seen the growth in his game over the last 52-plus weeks working with him?
Yeah, it's been a blast. I'll tell you. I mean, it's funny you say that because there were about 3 or 4 moments today in practice, particularly that, it just jumped out to me, like the amount he's grown. Obviously with his comfortability back in the position, but really with his leadership. I mean, he's gotten to the point I've really been harping on him and preaching it for him to be that coached out there on the field for our guys. And you just watch him now and how he is with our team. It's really fun to see because he's taking that on. The guys look to him. They know that he owns his craft. He owns his responsibility, knows his job, knows everybody else's job. And, to see a guy that really kind of hopped in and I think was really just cutting it loose sometimes last year and just showing off his athletic ability, how he's taking things over and taking everything and taking responsibility of it and really taking pride in it is the number one thing. So, to hammer on that, I'm proud as heck of him and excited to see him continue to grow.
Coach, you put up 30 points offensively the last couple games here. Do you guys feel that you've turned a little bit of a corner here where all right, we can start penciling ourselves in or hopefully start penciling ourselves in to have outputs offensively like you've had the last couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, we try to create goals and set goals and aspirations for where we're at, and the toughest thing I think for me as a young coach is trying to be realistic with those, but also, understanding places where I think our guys can go and what they can achieve. So one of our biggest things, I mean, always, Coach Hoke's going to hammer on it. Obviously, when you get the defense giving you the ball back as much as they do, our biggest thing is we want to try to score at least a point a minute. So obviously having the ball for 36 minutes last week, you want to be doing good things with it. And the last couple of weeks is really where we've seen ourselves achieve that goal. And it's when you watch ourselves right now, our biggest thing we're hammering on with the guys is if we play with even a higher level of consistency and a higher degree of focus than where we're at, I still think we're kind of just scratching the surface of what we can do. So that's the funnest part of it, seeing our guys finally buy in. I think the toughest thing about buying into something new is you got to see success. I mean, there's only so far you can go, and with man, blind faith only leads so far. At some point, you got to see the results and see success. And I think the funnest thing is seeing our guys over the last couple of weeks, obviously save the Air Force game, seeing that come to fruition on the field and kind of turn the corner. So, the biggest thing I'm hammering on them right now, it's something new. It's something they're feeling. Obviously, you did a good job putting up points last week, but nobody cares about that, and we gotta look towards this one and keep it rolling.
Yeah, Saturday night, Nevada, San Diego State, 6:00, Snapdragon Stadium. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. We'll give away a free pair of tickets coming up in about 10 minutes or so. San Diego State's offensive coordinator, Ryan Lindley, is with us. Ryan, for our listeners, what is it like? I mean, you're a first-time offensive coordinator calling plays. What is that experience like? And what does it take to get the feel of what is necessary to successfully accomplish what you're trying to accomplish as a play caller, like the ebbs and flows of doing that? What's that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I think I've tried to take with me, and I've been around some really good guys and taken a lot from what they've taught me, not only as a coach, but as a player, so I look at a guy like Andy Ludwig and just, how analytical he is with everything. He's so detailed. He's so organized. I tried to take pieces of that. And, I think I'm only a shadow of what he is in that realm. Obviously he's been doing it a long time. But my number one thing I want to continue to rely on, and I just, I always keep our guys in check and try to keep myself in check, is you still got to call it through the quarterback's eyes. I think as a player, I heard Jimbo Fisher say that a long time ago, when he was having his success down in Florida State. You got to call it, seeing it through the gunslinger's eyes. Like at the end of the day, that's my number one thing. I learned that from Bruce Arians as well. We got to call plays that obviously our guys can execute, and we got to push them, take advantage of what the defense does. But the number one thing right now, we got to call plays that Moose Maiden feels comfortable executing out there on the field. And obviously there's some plays where he's simply a facilitator, catching a snap and giving it to a running back, but there's others where he's got a whole lot more checks and other things that he's got to take care of. So if it's something that I and the coaching staff feel comfortable with, our players can't execute, it's just ink on a paper. It's a chalk on a board. And, we got to make sure that our guys feel comfortable doing what they're doing. And that's my biggest thing of, you got to be happy with them with how they've taken ownership and really put it out on the grass the last couple of weeks.
Coach, how do you get Mark Redmond more involved in this offense? He's last couple of games here, 3 catches, 2 catches, hasn't eclipsed over 30 yards receiving. What type of ways are you trying to get him more involved in the offense to make more of an impact?
Yeah, I think when we look at it, it's just tough. I mean, he came out with such a bang, and we want to continue to do that. And obviously the red zone is a place where we really see him making a huge impact. I think we've continued to try to do some things to get him the ball. Obviously there, he creates a mismatch with his size and some different things. And, it's almost like it's come to the point it's obviously defenses know that too. On defense, what do you want to do? You want to take away opponent's strengths and, put them in positions that they aren't as used to. So I think sometimes we're finding that, he's getting doubled at some times, and he's got guys all over him. And, we're trying. And I think obviously the number one thing too is we're trying to get our guys in our playmakers' hands, so he's one of those guys, obviously. I just say it's kind of leveled off a little bit. I think he just came out with a bang, and we'll find ways to keep getting him in the right spots to get him the football to make plays for us. But the great thing about Mark, is that I'm not hearing anything from him, and it's something I've probably noticed, and I'm sure some fans notice, just watching it being a guy that we want to get the ball to and seeing, like you said, just some 2-3 catch games, just kind of some almost some Yeoman work, but the way he is and how he is as a teammate and as a player, you haven't heard anything from him. He's doing his job. He's doing what he needs to do and improving the run game. And that stuff, obviously, that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but, he did a phenomenal job running to the football, blocking for his teammates. And that's how, he gives a rip about what he's got going on and what he's doing. So I'm proud as heck of him. It's going to come around. We're going to continue to do that, and excited to see him keep getting in the mix.
Ryan Lindley with us right now, San Diego State's offensive coordinator. So we watch a play Saturday night in Hawaii where you break out a trick play, right? The halfback pass where it's Maiden to Martin Blake, who throws it back to Maiden for a nice positive gain. Like, how quickly implemented are plays like that? Is that something you're working on the week before, or is that something you're working out at all fall? And how many trick plays how much time is there for trick plays week in and week out to work on?
You know, I kind of take a stance that, and I'm honest, I'm a little disappointed with the play because somehow Moose didn't get far enough upfield, and those were rushing yards instead of passing yards. So there's the quarterback in me. I'm sure some fans at Qualcar at Snapdragon will be happy to hear that. We want to pass the football, but no, we kind of work on it. It's a little bit everywhere. You know, like we don't have a lot of live reps versus our defense, and that's the toughest thing. You want to try to use some of those that you get with the defense live to really see how a defense is going to react to the play just based on what you're doing spatially and by formation. So it's weird. That one actually worked out. I mean, we called it Aloha, and it was obviously for the Hawaii game. And sometimes there's some plays where we put together maybe 2 or 3 trick plays. You know, our analyst, Patrick Kugler, does a great job of kind of diving in, looking at other people around the country, what they do. We kind of have some of our GAs too, and the rest of our coaches. It's kind of like, hey, who can come in with the coolest trick play? And let's go run it against the defense and see if it works. So it's been fun. It's almost like, you know, you want to come with them and try to dial them up. And the other thing I think is once you hit mid-season, you got to kind of do something during practice to keep the guys interested. You know, you stick to your bread and butter, but at some point you got to do something and sexy it up a little bit. So it was great to see the guys go execute it. Obviously, the big linemen had a lot of fun with doing the fake cut and the up down and then getting out in space and blocking out in front there for Moose. So it was great to see that one work.
Ryan, the wide receiver core here, fairly young compared to, last year losing the talent that two NFL caliber wide receivers that San Diego State lost last year. But for you, how has the progression of the wide receivers been this season for you?
Yeah, I think it came in, I think I talked before, it was unknown. I think we knew Mekhi Shaw kind of came on the scene last year. Obviously Breon Penny had some time. And I think you've seen flashes of those guys. Mekhi obviously had a great game last week. And really, it's kind of proven, and we're trying to hammer with the whole team, really, almost to follow up on that Mark question of like, hey, we got multiple guys that we feel like can be playmakers, and if they're dialed in and we get them the football and facilitate, that they can have big games for us. And it's case in point when you see a guy like Mekhi Shaw come back from injury and have such a big game last week. A couple weeks ago against Boise, obviously Balin Brooks has a kind of a coming out party, does a great job. We want to see him to kind of continue and grow as a young player, play with a little more effort, a little more consistency. But he is a special talent. We're excited to see get out there and continue to make some plays for us. He had one big catch for us last week, and really probably should have had a second one that went down on a little questionable call. But just excited to see how that group has kind of gelled and come into their own. Obviously, still looking for a guy to step up and be that every weekend and week out guy that we know can dominate as a number one receiver. But it's been fun to see each guy kind of pick up the flag and run with it each week in that group.
Ryan, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to Saturday night. Again, Nevada at Snapdragon Stadium, and Aztec victory gets them back to 500 before another bye week. Then they'll close with 4 games in 4 weeks. Ryan Lindley, Aztec for life, offensive coordinator for the Aztecs. Thank you, Ryan, for doing it.
No, always happy to come on, guys. You have a great one.
All right, you as well. Ryan Lindley. Again, I always say this, and tell me if you think I'm fair or off base. Last year's first 6 games.
Off base.
Nothing was going right on offense, right?
No.
I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, nothing was going right on offense. Ryan came in on like a bye week for Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And they moved Jalen from safety to quarterback. Mm-hmm. They proceeded to go 5-2 down the stretch, I think. And they won that first game. He threw for 300 yards, Jalen. Like, when you consider where they were to start last year, yes, they're not fully to where they probably want to be.
Right.
But there's been a lot of improvement. Like, if you were watching last year as we were to start the year to where they are today, 30 points against Boise, 40 points against Hawaii, I think they've improved on offense. I really do.
I think they have improved. It's just about being consistent. The first couple games, Ohio wasn't like, it was a struggle. They had a couple good drives, but overall the game was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA was just, I feel like, all over the place. They did score. They should have scored more.
Yeah.
But it was the defense that was the problem there.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon State,
they moved the ball, but they didn't really score.
Yeah, they couldn't finish drives and they couldn't score. Air Force, you kind of just want to never talk about that game ever again.
Right.
But against Boise, they scored 31, and the other day versus Hawaii, they scored 34 as an offense.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you want it to be consistently in the 30s, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if
You score 30.
with when I say that because of the defense. When you have a defense like this, it's going to give up a lot of yards and points. You're going to need to score a lot of points too.
Right. Before you'd say like 24 is enough. Like the last 5 years, you'd be like 24, you're going to go 10-2.
Yeah.
But now you're right. They've given up points. I mean, Hawaii this past weekend, Boise State a couple of weeks ago, Air Force.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Got to keep up.
So we'll see. Nevada, again, they're winless. So you have to win the game. And by the way, offensively, let's see if they can be the team we've seen against Boise and Hawaii where they score 30-something points on offense. Mm-hmm. All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to San Diego State, Nevada. We're going to ask you to name one of the receivers Ryan Lindley just mentioned in terms of having success this year. He mentioned 2 names specifically. You're going to need to name one of those 2 names. To Brent, first caller with one of those 2 names from the receivers playing well for Ryan Lindley. You've got 2 free tickets to Saturday night, 844-570-1360. Call right now. 2 free tickets to Saturday night. Name one of the 2 receivers he just mentioned playing well for the Aztecs right now. 844-570-1360.
We have a score update.
Score update.
ALCS game number 4. The game first pitch was like literally 8 minutes ago.
Okay.
Astros have a 3-0 lead.
Wow. So no team at home has won yet in the series. That trend could continue with the Astros leading in Arlington 3-0 in the first.
3-0 in the first. Runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Top of the first, you're saying? 3. They've scored 3 and they're still batting?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So a big inning. This is what they did yesterday. They jumped out in front.
Yeah, first 4 in their lineup all had a hit. Bregman has 2 RBIs. Jordan Alvarez, who we talked about, has an RBI.
So as we speak right now, you feel like the Astros are going to win the series? As we speak right now. I do.
If they win tonight, yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, I just feel like with the 3-0 lead, and we'll see, they might not win this game. I just feel like they got all the momentum now.
Yeah.
And they're the experienced team with the momentum.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not left for dead here based on what they did yesterday. They win this game, they're the series favorite. They'd be tied at 2. They'd have home field advantage. They'd be the series favorite.
Yep. I feel like the same. I feel like even if the Phillies lose tomorrow,
I'd still put them as a slight series favorite.
I still to say they're going to be a favorite because I don't see them losing at home. And all I got to do is win 1 in Arizona. And then I think game 6 is kind of like a foregone conclusion in my mind there. Things could change, obviously, but I mean, Arizona kind of just squeaked by today.
Yeah, definitely.
They didn't win like 9-2. They had to get a lot of things go right, and they did not capitalize on a lot of opportunities. So that series still feels like very much the Phillies, but you see like the momentum in this Astros Rangers series kind of turning a little bit here, and not good news for Bruce Bochy and the Rangers.
So let me ask you, I'm trying to recall. There was no 5-game series in the DS, right? There was no divisional series that went 5 games.
No.
There was no wild card series that went 3. We have not had a deciding game in the postseason to this point. We've already had 8 series. These are series 9 and 10.
Yeah.
I hope we get a game 7 is basically my point. We just said earlier before Ryan Lindley, we hope we get a game 6. I want a game 7 because the postseason has not really delivered the way you hope it would deliver. You got some good teams. I think people are excited about Astros, Rangers, Phillies. We'll see about the Diamondbacks. Give me some drama. Give me a 7th game or 2, whether it's in this round or in the World Series, to kind of make up for the blah first couple of rounds of the postseason.
And the one thing that baseball suffers from, and it's not like, I'm not saying this because it's a bad thing for the players. Hey, if you get time off, you get time off. But for baseball in general, the time off, I think, hurts them. You can't go 4 days without any baseball, or like 3 days without any baseball. Even 2 days without any baseball is too much.
Right, just from Major League. Right, because in the NFL, sure, you go 3-4 days, but in baseball, you're right. You want it every day.
Yeah, it's an everyday sport, and especially in the postseason. I understand that there's going to be a couple days off here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But like if these series wrapped up quickly and all of a sudden we had 5 days off before the World Series, that's just like you just like lose all momentum for your sport.
Yeah, I've never liked that.
I've
never. And by the way, after both these series are 2-0, I'm thinking we're gonna have a week off.
I know.
I really did feel that way, but that's not gonna happen. And if we don't get a 6th game, I'll be disappointed because now Houston leads us, 3-0 and they can get to 2-2. We're going to get a 6th game somewhere. I want to know if we get a 7th game. It'd be nice to get 2 7-game series.
Yeah.
Nice to have a good World Series as well. What was it? 5 games last year, Phillies Astros?
Was it 4-1?
Or was it 4-2?
Might have been 4-1. You're right. Because 4-2, that means they would have been. I don't know. Was it 4-1 or 4-2?
It was 4-2.
4-2.
It was 4-2.
Okay.
Yeah. The series was actually tied at 2.
So then they went back to Houston.
Shoot, the Phillies led the series 2-1 and then lost the last 3 games. I don't remember it that way.
I don't remember that way either. I thought the Astros led this the whole way, and Phillies got a couple games here and there, and couldn't get back into it.
Remember, Phillies won game 1 in Houston. They came back from a 5-0 deficit.
That's right.
And won 6-5.
That's right.
Then game 1 in Philly, they won 7-0. So at that point, you're thinking the Phillies are going to win the World Series, but Houston won the last 3 games. I'm intrigued. I am. I don't really personally want to see Arizona in the World Series. Nothing against Arizona. I don't have any vendetta against them. I just don't really want to
Arizona.
See. You know, I mean, I don't have any grudge towards Arizona, really. I mean, is it towards Bob Brenly or whomever else has been critical of Fernando Tatis Jr. over the last 5 years? Right? That's maybe the one thing.
The only thing that I feel is just, and if you're a Padres fan, you just feel like you're envious. You're jealous. You're like, they won 84 games in the CS.
Right.
Like, what? All the Padres had to do is
win 84 games.
84 games.
And they might have been in the same spot.
Even though we knew that the 84 wins just wouldn't be this. I don't know. When I hear, well, the Padres just won 84 games this year, this could be the Padres.
Yeah.
Dude, I watched every game this year. This team was not it.
No, I agree.
84 games. It felt,
they could have been the team that got in and then lost in 2 games in the wild card, even though they were in the wild card with all the momentum.
Yeah, it just didn't feel that way.
Right.
It feels like the Diamondbacks, their ceiling was kind of like 84, 85 wins type of feeling. And then they got in. The Padres, 84 wins this year. Well, it might have got them in the postseason, I think. It just felt like they underachieved all year long.
Because they did.
They did.
Because they absolutely did. And they were coming off an 89 win season, and they got Bogarts, and they got Tatis, and you're thinking they're going to win 89 games. I mean, they're falling out of bed winning 89 games, and they didn't get close.
And they didn't get close.
Next year.
It's always next year. John.
Potentially.
That's the hashtag. Always next year.
All right, here's what we have still ahead. We want to get your reaction on San Diego FC releasing its official name today. It's San Diego FC, spoiler alert.
Well, they didn't officially release it. It got leaked.
Okay, fair. Well, the Athletic says they've gotten it from the club, right?
I bet you, because this is what usually happens is like
I'd have to
news outlets or paper, publications or writers or whatever. They get stories before anybody else knows, and then they're told, hey, release it this time. I bet you that all of this stuff was given to the Athletic
and they just released it in advance,
and they either accidentally released it before
or weren't told to not release it.
That too.
Right. So this is what the Athletic writes, by the way. We'll get into it more on the other side. Our reaction to this logo, which if you haven't seen it, find at Jon Jim on social media. You'll see it there, JONANDJIM. Or join us here on YouTube. Search for Jon Jim 760. We'll share it with you. But the Athletic wrote this. They acquired a copy of the club's crest and logo explainer. Multiple sources have confirmed that the logo acquired is indeed the logo. And by adopting the football club moniker, the organization becomes the 11th MLS team to be an FC. Our reaction and your reaction to San Diego FC's name and logo on the other side, plus Jim's back page. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, your thoughts on the brand new logo for San Diego FC, which was leaked to the media earlier today, plus Jim's back page. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by AutoZone. NLCS Game 3 D-backs have now made this a series as they hit a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth inning to win 2-1. That series is still 2-1 in favor of Philly. Game 4, Houston and Texas, Astros and Rangers. Astros lead the Rangers 3-0 in the bottom of the first inning there. Thursday Night Football, we have the Jaguars taking on the Saints. And Saturday, the Aztecs take on Nevada. 6 p.m. kickoff. Our pregame cover starts at 4 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
All right, I think this helps put things in perspective. We'll get to some of your texts on San Diego FC, your thoughts on the logo. So you got to turn your mic on.
I know.
So these are the logos we have. You can't see them. I mean, I could put them up on YouTube, but I'm just looking at the logos of teams in Major League Soccer. And when I look at the logos in Major League Soccer compared to what San Diego FC unveiled today, if you haven't seen it, go to @Jon Jim on Twitter, JONANDJIM, and you can see it, or just search for it if you haven't seen it. A lot of people have said underwhelming, and maybe I'm putting it lightly, to be honest. But when I compare it to these logos, Jim, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's right in the middle of a lot of these logos. I mean, some of these MLS logos, I'm not enthralled with, if I'm being honest. I mean, there's some, look at these, like Atlanta United FC, blah. FC Cincinnati, right? I mean, you're looking at these. Are these Red Bull New York? Is this great to you? This thing?
What is that?
This thing?
The Quakes?
Yeah, I mean, there's some
Quakes logo's not great.
Yeah, my point is, like, this isn't the NFL. It's not minor league baseball. Maybe there's more of a look and feel to Major League Soccer logos that I was unaware of that are more in line with what they unveiled today. I don't know. I look at these other ones. I don't feel like that San Diego FC doesn't fit, is my point, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
Text line 619 number says the Wave and the Loyal crush their logos. After California burritos, logos are the next important thing we care about. Epic fail.
No, I'm all about logos. I'm with you there. It's important. Names and logos matter.
619 number says, put the wave crest next to the SDFC crest, and I understand the disappointment.
Okay.
858 number says, why does the logo look like a manhole cover? Another 619 number says, the SDFC badge is terrible. Reasoning for colors and design makes no sense. SMH.
All right. So are all the comments, and read through a few more, are they all critical? Is anyone taking the I support it or I like it?
Yeah.
Has anyone said that?
619 number says, I like the logo.
Okay.
Glad it's not pink like the City Connect Padres jersey.
Okay.
913 number says, was this tested in a focus group? I'd be interesting to hear their feedback.
They said yes. The Athletic wrote that it was tested.
858 number says, let's stop pretending that the negative reaction is just a standard social media negativity that accompanies these types of announcements. This logo sucks, and we all know it. I can't believe all the focus groups they held produced this generic club name and logo. Hopefully they leak this to see what kind of feedback they got, and they still have 2 years to change it.
I mean, is that possible? Teams have changed logos based on reaction. We've seen mascots get unveiled, and then those mascots never exist. We've seen, I think, the LA Chargers, that LA logo was so widely criticized, they got rid of it.
But if they're going to change it, they'd have to do it before 2 years because they're going to want to start pumping merch out here pretty soon.
That's exactly right.
619 number says, this logo looks like a Chat GPT logo. I don't know, dude. I saw something on Twitter.
Yeah.
Someone's like, I did this in 20 seconds or 20 minutes.
On Bing. It was like amazing.
And it was a generated logo, San Diego FC.
With all these colors. But okay, so you put on Jon and Jim at Jon and Jim. Do you like the new San Diego FC crest? And this, again, does not surprise me on social media. You get more no's than yeses. It's 71.9% no, 28.1% yes. This is like 300 plus votes. So a good amount of votes. 25, 30% like it, 70% don't like it. That doesn't shock me, Jim. To be honest, that really doesn't shock me. Now, I'm not trying to discount it. I'm not, because I do believe they probably could have done better than what they did. But I do believe most of the reaction to new names and logos is negative. So having lived through this.
Paul Kennedy, he's the editor-in-chief for Soccer America.
Mm-hmm.
He was inducted into, he was a 2016 Hall of Fame Hall of Fame award recipient. Okay, for a writer.
Okay.
He's a soccer writer.
Soccer writer.
For Soccer America, editor-in-chief. All right. He quote tweeted the Athletic article, Athletic Soccer, and logo, and he said, I generally don't wade into logo or jersey critiques. I'm not a brand guy and definitely not a fashion guy. But this is embarrassing. How on earth did it get through multiple levels of an approval process?
Again, everyone's got an opinion. You know what I mean? Just because everyone's got an opinion. We're all entitled to them.
I just think if you take away the color ring, the yellow, red, and blue color ring, dude, that's like the crappy Padres blue and whatever white color.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those things sucked.
The lack of color kind of reminds me of like when the NFL used to do their, they do the color rush Thursdays, and then you'd see like the Cowboys color rush would be like all white.
Sure.
It's like, where's the color?
I know.
And it's like, oh, here's our new colorful logo. It's like 80% gray.
And for people out there that I'm sure are like, dude, who cares? It's a freaking logo. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. It's the first thing that you see.
Yeah,
and it's the first thing when you think about. And when the first thing you think about with this new SDFC club is like, what the hell is this? Looks like a police badge. It matters, dude.
I just feel like in San Diego, color matters. Like I think, like I'm just looking at some of the old Aztec marks. They're colorful. Padres old school colors, brown, new colors, City Connect, Wave, Loyal. There's a lot of bright color. When you think about logos and marks for San Diego sports teams, shoot, the Chargers had colorful marks, right?
Yeah.
Iconic, to be honest, with that color combination. And this lacks that. And I think what a lot of people think San Diego, and this is where I started the conversation 3 hours ago, I think it's a high bar for San Diego because it's such an amazing city. That to me makes it a high bar. And the city is known for so much. And the city is so beautiful that you're trying to match that. And when you can't do it, you're going to be critiqued even more heavily here than you might be elsewhere.
619 number says, looks like the FC is spiraling down the drain of a toilet. See, when you have a logo that you can interpret to anything you want, it's not good. I just am very underwhelmed by it. I think a logo matters a lot. I think a branding matters a lot because what are they going to use to now officially brand everything they do until 2025? That's what they're using.
Okay, so
to say it doesn't matter, I feel like it's kind of like missing. I don't know. It's either.
So what's your takeaway? What's your overall takeaway as we head into this, year before Major League Soccer comes to San Diego, and you have a build up until they play at Snapdragon Stadium in 2025, whatever that is, 15, 16 months. How does this impact the way you look at this moving forward? Does it have an impact for you? Like, is this going to impact the way you consume the build up to this Major League Soccer team?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. If you're a San Diegan and you're a huge soccer fan, you want something to be proud of. Does that scream something that you could be proud of right now? Just the logo solely.
Here's the thing. Without answering that question, what I said earlier, I'll say now. It won't impact me personally how I feel about San Diego MLS, whether it is going to be successful or not successful. Like, there's so much more that goes into it to me than just a logo, although I do agree, a logo matters.
Yeah.
Branding matters. We all understand that.
It 100% matters. You can never tell me that a logo and a brand is just, who cares? Like, no.
It's discussed widely. I mean, we discussed the Padres logo before they changed it to brown.
It's everything,
all the time. And there were a lot of people that were critical for a long time.
Yeah. And I just don't understand. I can't be on board with a dismissal of
just
colors and doesn't matter and logo doesn't matter. Like, because if it didn't matter, then
why would there be this reaction?
Exactly.
No, you're right. And I agree with you. I'm just not going to go as far as be like, and you haven't. I'm just thinking from my perspective. I'm not going to be like, forget it.
No,
this logo is terrible. I was all in until I saw the logo. I'm not going to go there, but I do understand this idea that they could do better.
Oh, I think they could do a lot better. I think when the Loyal announced their logo, it was kind of met with the same, not the same as this, but it was
I think the name, a lot of people were like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was like, wait, the Loyal? It was more the name than anything.
Yep.
But the identity of the club, the colors, the crest, it screamed San Diego in a huge way. San Diego Wave, the colors, the crest screamed San Diego in a huge, huge way. Those are the last two clubs that have been most recently as far as expansion clubs in San Diego.
Right.
And this to me, honestly, it fell short. San Diego Seals.
Yeah, very colorful.
Very colorful. I think that logo, simple is more. Less is more. It does this screams it feels like this is a lot with the lines. And by the way, I'm sorry guys, nobody when they see that is the first thing they're going to think of is, 18 lines. That means the 18 counties in San Diego. I don't feel that's not it. You need to have something that is simple, to the point, says San Diego, not just like the word San Diego, but the vibe of it, the colors.
Maybe it's an evolving logo. Maybe it's still this is a start. This is where
maybe it's like one of those magic picture things. We just have to stare at it long enough and it's going to change.
Right, exactly. All right. On the other side, we're going to get to Jim's back page. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, we've got Jim's back page for you. That's next. Jeff Passan.
Oh, here we go.
This is earlier. We'll get to Jim's back page in a second. Torey Lovello is pulling Brandon Pfaadt, who has thrown
What a name.
who has thrown 5 2/3 brilliant shutout innings for the Diamondbacks, and bringing in left-handed reliever, I don't even know how to say the guy's name, Andrew Solfrank. The fans are booing. Pfaadt has thrown 69 pitches. Do with that shall you want, or whatever. Do what you shall with that, Twitter. I screwed that up. But anyway, just Passan being Passan.
It just shows how hard it is sometimes to read his tweets.
It's very hard.
It's like your favorite thing to do in the world.
You think it's hard to read? You should try thinking it up.
Yeah.
True.
He probably sits there like, all right, what am I going to tweet out today that's going to piss off John Schaefer?
How's Travis Etienne look so far tonight? Is that game
Should
underway?
we start him? No, it's too late.
I don't know.
Is
that what is the score of that game?
Well, as of right now, John, it is 7-3 Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is playing.
What about Etienne? How's he been?
Travis Etienne, three carries for 6 yards and a touchdown.
Killing
Okay.
it.
You take that.
Crushing it.
What a day.
Derek Carter, 4 for 10, 29 yards. Oof.
Has it been? I said what a day. I don't know if that's warranted, but
Man, I don't know why I care so much about this freaking logo.
Because it's
dude.
very Jim. You care about like Padres promotions. You care about colors, and I like logos.
I think I just want the city to be viewed in a high regard. So when I see this logo go out there, this is like, am I the biggest soccer fan? No, I'm not. But when you see this logo go out and it's being made fun of by not just everybody in the town, but by like people that don't even live here, it's like, dude, we want something that's cool. We want something that like we're proud of, and people are like, oh, that's awesome. Instead, it's just being made fun of a lot.
I'll need to look. I haven't searched social media up and down.
Look at the quote tweets.
Okay. I'll look at the quote tweets.
Look at the quote
I will.
tweets.
All right, let's get to this.
We got a press release yesterday that at Petco Park, there was going to be a huge announcement regarding new concert.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the announcement was Billy Joel and Sting are coming to Petco Park.
Very big concert.
Very big concert. The duo concert is set for Saturday, April 13th, 2024.
Is that okay? That's all you had? Yeah, that's great. I saw Billy Joel 20 years ago. He's phenomenal. He's in his mid-70s now. Sting just played in San Diego, by the way. I want to say open air amphitheater at San Diego State. I think that'd be a great show.
Probably not the demographic for that, but I think that's pretty cool.
Why? It's not based on your age. It's based on if you like their music.
Yeah.
Billy Joel's been around forever.
I know, but I don't think
you're not the demographic, or we're not.
I don't think I am the demo to like be like, oh, dude, I need to go to this Billy Joel concert.
Yeah, maybe. When I was a kid, Billy Joel was a big deal.
Well, you're older than me, John.
Yeah, it's true. I can confirm that.
Well, twice, because he was a big deal in the 80s and he was a big deal in the 90s too.
Have you ever heard of Piano Man?
No.
Roxanne?
We didn't start the fire.
Yeah, we didn't start the fire. You've never heard of Piano Man?
I know Sting, bro.
You know Piano Man.
No, I don't.
Brent.
If you give me the song, if I hear the song,
sing us the song.
No, if
Piano Man.
If I heard it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I
That's
get
the
it.
song. Sing us the song, Piano Man. Sing us the song.
Oh yes, I have. Okay, there we go. Okay, I have.
We're all in the mood for.
Yeah, Weird Al parodied it.
Feeling all right.
Weird Al's version was about Spider-Man.
So I kind of know it.
And I think Piano Man is the name of the album that Piano Man was on. Is that correct, Brent?
That I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
But it did come out before you were born, and me. I think it was from the 70s.
Universal Studios is coming out with a new roller coaster. Brent showed me this earlier today. The Fast and Furious roller coaster will aim screaming riders away from neighborhood homes. Also, it's a themed roller coaster that like turns, right? Like it's like a weird roller coaster.
Wait, what?
It's supposed to have cars on it that they're supposed to like rotate.
Yeah, like rotating cars, like
almost do barrel rolls. When it goes.
So like Fast and the Furious,
corkscrews or whatever you want to call it.
Obviously, it's cars, John. That's
yeah,
what
it makes
the
sense.
movie's
Yeah,
based off of, and it's like rolling. It's like a rolling car. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I thought Universal was a good time. Yeah, I'm on board.
Do you like roller coasters at all?
Yeah, but not crazy roller coasters. I don't need like 10 loops and the highest drop in American history.
So you just like the rickety old one, like down in Mission Beach or whatever.
Kind of. I do like that roller coaster, to be honest.
That's a fun roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a little like, am I gonna like fall off and die here? But it's still fun. It goes fast, and you get a little bit of adrenaline rush.
No doubt.
Reese's is coming out with
Reese's.
Reese's.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out with a new frozen, I guess, Reese cup. It's a banana with the Reese's, like, I can't say it now. Reese's. It's a banana frozen sliced.
That looks amazing.
Reese's. Dude, I'm saying it. Reese's cup thing. It's like, I don't know. Are you down with that? A chocolate covered Reese's banana?
Are you down with Jim's back page? Yes, I think Reese's in general is spectacular.
Reese's.
And by the way, frozen Reese's are even better. Or cold.
I always get my Reese's cup and I put them in the fridge first.
Thank you.
For like 20 minutes. So they're nice and cold. So it's not like mushy.
I knew there's a reason we work well together. All right, if you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Find us on YouTube. Search Jon and Jim 760. Find us on social media at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. We're back tomorrow at 3. And for Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760. Okay.
Okay, peace out. Bye.